Yes.
You know, it's like, ooh, you know, the peasants were wearing this in the early 1500s, you know. And the peasants now are wearing very similar things. You'd be surprised, you know. They're all the garments are equally dirty. In different ways, though, now than they were during when the plague was prevalent. They used to call them rags. Now they call them, you know, fucking giveaway t-shirts and jorts. Like, you know. So it's the same.
My name is Jorge Regula.
My name is Jorge Regula.
I'm walking down the street.
I'm walking down the street.
I love you.
I love you. Let's go to the beach.
Let's go sailing.
Let's go sailing.
Let's get a bite to eat.
Let's get a bite to eat.
Let's talk about movies.
Let's talk about movies.
Let's go to sleep. I wake up in the morning.
I wake up in the morning.
Put on my yellow shirt.
Put on my yellow shirt.
I get a bite to eat.
I get a bite to eat.
I go to work.
Got our,
Yeah, wooden lid.
yeah, pure wood.
Wouldn't go with the painted
Pure
one.
wood lid
We like the wood.
for a couple bucks, $10 more than the molded wood, but well worth the happiness.
Yes.
It's like eating chocolate. Having a wooden toilet seat is like eating chocolate. It's bad. All right. What's Peace Fire doing downstairs?
Smoking a bowl.
Why did I even answer?
The neighbors are wild tonight.
Yeah, the neighbors are. All right, guys. Well, probably the smallest crowd we've had.
They keep getting smaller.
Very intimate, just smaller and smaller until I think next month is going to be.
I hope so. Like to see everyone.
Welcome to Runaway Studios. I know some of you are first timers here, which is amazing for such a small crowd. The probability is low for that, but some first timers, so thank you guys for coming. Steve, forgive me for not being able to make too much eye contact with you because I'm being blinded by the light that you're sitting behind. Yeah, this is our 9th verse session, 10th verse session. Wow. Yeah, a decade. This is how, I guess this is how it works. Everybody knows how it works. Well, to be honest, actually, we can't work it like we usually do because we don't have any music tonight.
We may have music if you want it.
We could.
He has guitar.
I have a guitar in my band.
Oh, yeah.
I actually just got done playing a show.
Clay, if you're down, I mean, if you're down, we could do.
Down.
It would just like a light acoustic thing because
Yeah.
we couldn't go too loud.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's how we like to operate the verse sessions. We're all here. You know, we have some poetry that we want to read. We have or things that we want to share. We're here. We all get together and we talk a little bit. We mingle and then we get down to business and we read and express and share our work. And then we, after that goes on for a while, we like to take another break, listen to some music, and then get back to the business of reading. It's like sex. You know, usually people read anywhere from 3 to 5 pieces or play a couple songs or whatever, and I usually do 6 pieces. But today I'm gonna kind of, since we're such a small group, I'm gonna kind of scratch the formalities and I haven't written a whole lot. I haven't written a whole lot in the last month. Sadie and I got the camper out front. I don't know, you know, I'm sure, I guess most of you are aware. We got the camper out front, so that's been consuming most of our time. You know, I wish we could, Steve, can you put that light down? And on the floor, actually. Oh, that's better. That's better. Can everybody still see me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, I haven't had a chance to write very much, so I don't have a whole lot of new stuff to share. I do have some old poems, but I have a lot of stuff from other writers. You know, this is the opportunity that we have. We don't get this a whole lot. Opportunities to just share with people things that have inspired us, in addition to our own work. So I wanted to take some time to do that tonight, as well as read some of my own stuff. And I was thinking, you know, there aren't many of us here. Whatever you have to read, do it. You know, if you have more stuff that you want to say or share later, if it comes to you later, come back up. Because I think I'm going to come back up and kind of stretch my reading out a little bit, because I have there's so much stuff, and you know, who cares? What are we doing? You know, there's plenty of time. So the first thing I wanted to, well, I guess a couple more announcements. Everything's for sale, so feel free to check out the back for anything you want, and let us know, and we'll work a price out. You know, we're just trying to sell everything and keep paying rent here.
What experiences have you had with writing for local publications? Or writing, you know, writing for publications, not the ones
Locally?
that you've... Yeah, locally.
Well, I wrote for Rust Belt Almanac when about maybe 6 months after I started writing for Rust Belt Almanac like 3 months after I graduated college, which is an incredibly quick pace for like.
Are you shopping at Vito's?
No.
Oh.
We'll go to Trader Joe's and get some gluten-free pizza crust, pizza dough, so you can make your gluten-free pizza. Do they have that at Trader Joe's?
I don't know.
Donna Sotho's?
But talk to me more about Rust Belt Almanac.
Rust Belt Almanac was a great...
How did you get that gig?
Craigslist. I was on Craigslist, and the Craigslist ad said, if you like to work over good beer, get in touch with us. And they're looking for writers. And so I was like, okay, that's awesome. I can do that. And, you know, I was fresh out of college, so I was still very much in the college writing mindset.
Which is?
That a lot of the bullshit you come out of college with, like, writers write every day, and, like, you know, all the Hunter S. Thompson quotes, like, you know, ice is a human right, and good people drink good beer, and you know, like, the bullshit inspirations that you develop when you're in college that you eventually come to understand more once you live a little bit longer, and you realize are good for that, and then you but you'll never write anything good if you just rely on those things. You'll just write a lot of cliche bullshit until you develop your own ideas, which is what they tell you in college, but you just don't hear that, I think. So I'm like, oh, good beers. Well, good people drink good beers, and I like good beers, and ice is a human right. So I'm gonna get in touch with them, and so I did, and the interview went well. I think they were both 23. I was 22, and the founders of the magazine were 23. So we meshed well, and I think they could tell that I didn't really know. I think they were a little apprehensive.
So they were a good publication. Like, you were happy to be.
Yeah, I mean, they
writing.
wanted to be ad-free. They wanted
Did they
to
basically give you free range?
Yeah, they gave me free range. They wanted long-form journalism, which was...
Is that rare for local publications?
It's non-existent. There's no long-form journalism in any local publication.
Why? Because of ads?
Still to this day, because Rust Belt Almanac no longer exists. Because of ads and because of audience. They were trying to appeal to a different audience, and they wanted to be print because they wanted something more tactile. A lot of the stuff that we're doing with Runaway Hotel is just like what Rust Belt Almanac was trying to do. Only Rust Belt Almanac was about had different content. I think we got our coffees at Starbucks this morning, and every sip I took, I spilled a little bit more coffee on my white shirt. I was so fucking pissed. I was so pissed that I stopped at 2 Goodwills to get new shirts and couldn't find any that fit me with the way I liked, the way the coffee stain shirt was fitting me.
You're live.
I don't remember where.
How it's all turning into shit.
Right, like it's like there was cool shit that happened. Spaces, I guess.
Does having this there change the
Conversation dynamic? No, it does, because you were smiling. I was good. I think you thought that I wasn't, so you started smiling, and then
That's What do you feel is wrong about? Do you feel like anything's wrong about the art community here in Pittsburgh? Or what are some things
I don't know
that
if
could be
it's just
improved
Pittsburgh.
on?
I don't know.
No, it's not just.
I think, Pittsburgh is a sufferer. It's fucking. Well, like we were just saying. We don't know what's changing. There's a dynamic. There's a new thing that's going on, and because of this new thing, because of Instagram and all the stuff and the different trends and like the buzzwords like Applewood Smokes and Vintage and Chipotle and Indigo and these fucking stupid and studios and
The studio isn't a studio anymore.
right and when it was a studio, you knew that you didn't want to call it one. It was, you called it your studio, but you didn't want to call it studios. It wasn't meant to be a film production company.
Yeah, I mean the mistake I made was probably I mean, I made a lot of mistakes, but the mistakes have also there's been a lot of good things that have come out of it.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, but, so when it became Runaway Studios, who were we listening to? A marketing person.
Yeah, they killed themselves.
A marketing person. You know, so it's like, we thought nothing to call it. You know, the closest thing that, it was called Runaway. It's called Runaway. But there had to be something attached to it. What do you mean Runaway? Couldn't just have a name. So, you know, and I think, again, like, I thought it should be called Runaway Hotel.
It is.
That's cooler because that has the thing in mind. That has the theme.
Why do you think people are so drawn? Well, the masses aren't drawn.
Oh yeah, we were talking about
audiences.
And now there's this small niche group, and then there's the bigger mass audience. And like Sam was saying, you can't blame the fans, but at the same time, come on, like, you're funding shit. Top 40 is all electronic, you know. It's fucking easy music to make. You know, it's easy music. Like, it might not be easy music to make.
It's
top
more about
40.
quantity. Do. Like I was saying to Matt,
it's overaction.
There's so many people our age that are doing way too much shit and not doing one thing well.
Yeah,
I've done it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the worst feeling when you
I've
look
done
back
it.
on it. But I think I've slowed down a lot. I feel like I have.
Yeah, you've definitely slowed down. I think about when I think about
I just think about how wrong. I think the thing that's wrong about a lot of it is there's no meaning in it. It's just cool. That's cool. That looks cool. Well,
yeah, exactly.
What's going on?
That's what I mean. Like these fucking things, you know, like little, you know, one time the underground, you know, it was very, I would have, you know, at least you get from like, you know, your pop cultural analysis and the history of some of that shit, you know, like everybody gets their start somewhere, right? But
It's
like,
just exploded.
It was thematic, you know, the reason it was good and the reason it like built a following was because it was this sick thing, and then it goes commercial and falls apart and it sucks. You know, that's like the tradition.
How do you feel about crowdfunding? It's all just or grants.
Because of crowdfunding, things can be shit from the very beginning. Because everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, and it's like, I mean, I guess you could say like crowdfunding immediately introduces marketing. Immediately. You go from you know, instead of saying like, we're a band, we need to focus on the music, we need to make this good shit, like our music is about this, and we're sticking to that, and then you do it and people are like, oh shit, this is awesome, and it sets you apart, and you take off and build a following, and it's awesome. And then you start getting paid, and eventually it ends up sucking, which may or may not happen, you know, but like that's what, like, you
So
know.
it's like, do you think people are just trying to one up each other?
But crowdfunding is like, okay, like, we want to start a band. How can we fucking afford that? That's impossible. Like, we're not going to be able to afford that shit. Let's make a couple songs and then print some t-shirts and create some incentives for people to fund us, so then we can, like, play some shows and, like, get a truck and all this stuff. So you're immediately appealing to an audience. You know? Like, you totally skip building anything good, and you go right for the building the audience. And that when your shit's dictated by the crowd, you're gonna have way too many opinions. It's like early on at the studio, you know, we're just like, it's just like, whoa, like, let's think about what we want to do and not what everybody's saying we can do.
It's weird how quickly it evolved.
Yeah. I mean, you remember early on when, like, everybody was coming to you with ideas. Everybody was saying, do this and this and this and this and this. And the more, and, you know, when you keep letting these people in, or not you specifically, but, like, when anybody keeps letting these people in and taking way too much advice, it doesn't become, there's nothing, like, there's not one initial goal. You gotta start with one initial goal. One thing.
I just wanted to make things, have room to make things. And, like, I'm really happy with the first sessions. Those have been fun. Well, do you think that social media has affected poetry at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely affected this visual poetry and shit. Which is good and bad. You know, it's good. It's good. It's good. And bad. Because, well, I mean, I don't know. It's good. I guess the bad visual poetry is bad and the good visual poetry is good. It doesn't, you know.
What makes it bad?
But it's when it changes
taken.
No, it's just, you can just, because people, it's not actually, you know, you can put a greeting card thing. That's just what ends up happening. I mean, there's good stuff. It's good. Everything I do is good. No, but yeah, I mean, social media's changed. You know, I was thinking about this in the car, in the truck on the way here. Like, what, you know, it's a classic argument. What good is what you're making if it's not reaching people?
Yeah.
So, you know, you need to reach people. So
I think it's important that people are creating things. I always question motives. I question my own motives. You ought to understand that. If anything. Why are we moving? Just anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking about, my motives for, what are my motives for consistently making the argument quality over quantity? And sometimes I think it's laziness, you know. I actually just use the excuse that I'm taking my time and making something good so that I don't actually do much of anything. I just can relax, you know, like,
Relaxing's
I mean, when you know...
We're in a generation where, I mean...
I really, because of the studio, Runaway Studios, my lifestyle has been completely changed. My previous lifestyle was make enough money, hang out, and write poetry. You know, and make sure I have time to write at the end of the night, or whatever. You know,
I mean,
I haven't done that at all. I've been more productive than I've ever been in my life. I mean, I've exposed my work to tenfold the audience, you know, and I've participated in double-digit art shows. I wasn't doing any of that shit.
You made an installation.
I made an idea actually come to life for an audience in Hoagie Petting Zoo. You know.
What do you enjoy the most about visual art? Making it for yourself. Like, what do you feel like it's the most effective about visual art compared to poetry or writing? Is it just more direct?
I think sometimes it's more fun. I think it's easier in some respects. I think not necessarily easier, but more fun to work physically with. You know, writing. You're sitting and you're using your head and your fingers, but that's it. You know. Whereas visual art, like, you know, it's construction, it's cooking, or it's, you know, painting, building, you know, putting stuff together. That's cool. That's fun as hell. I love like the physicality of visual art. You know, and people look at it. People are afraid to read, or not, but it's easier to go than to, like, go. You gotta spend time on a poem. Whereas a visual thing you can look at. You should spend time on it, but you don't necessarily have to.
Why do people compare you to Billy Collins so much? This is style of writing.
How many times have I been?
You've been compared to him. That one blogger that came at the first session, and then in one of your blurbs for laying out Tom's outfit.
From Todd Davis or Jim Daniels?
I think Todd Davis. That's cool.
That
Did
makes
Billy
sense.
Collins have the poems about the seagull?
Maybe. Probably. Billy Collins is the guy who wrote the poem about Donald Duck taking his nephews.
I don't know if I've ever heard it.
He's like, well, it's just because we have similar aesthetics, kind of similar voices. I mean, because all right, I will. I'll read this one. It's called Whole. A venting or a rant. I prefer a venting. My instruments are out of tune. Banjo sounds like a guitar. Guitar sounds like shit sounds when you strum it, if you've ever taken the time. It is much like you might expect the tune of Pooh to Coo. In the bar, the long-haired jag with split ends and a featherless dart in hand at the Oka was wearing a warm wool argyle, spun intently with the 3 primary colors plus green. He told me, out of his hoppy mustache mouth, that I should use the words feed and skin as often as possible in my poetry because of how phonemically alluring they are. He said they'd make you shiver like a good piss and batten down your reading hatches for a hellstorm. I offered him a smarmy thank you and a toast to the terrible suggestions of the world, like naming a tea Earl Grey. Because old Negro League baseball players are what I want to taste sliding down the base path of my throat each morning after a close play on a grounder in the hole, washing down the Fruit Loops. The cup holding my tea was stolen from me by my friend Bree from Yamato Sushi, but I should have taken the whole carafe for free. Maybe that's what's missing, more dinnerware to fill with food filled with filler. My Levi's feel like they were filled by a magazine modeling Prince with a penis, thighs, ankles, tendons arrangement arranged much better than mine. And I feel bad to have forced them, my pants, to downgrade, but clothes don't have feelings, unless you believe in thrift store fashion reincarnation. Then maybe they do. And in some next life, you and I will meet, after karma has smite me for failing to live up to the expectations of my spoiled genes, and I'll be the blue slack wrapped around your knee, bending with it till I'm worn, frayed, gaping, an open wound of denim, instead of a wound of skin and voice, and you'll feed me some flannel patching for a quick fix, forgetting to sew me tight, so not solving anything, only putting the problem off again till karma kicks you too, and we both end up as pants on a rack with lots of others who thought once that holes could be mended with material but no thread. I'll break now.
write for any local publications right now?
Yeah, come on, you know that. Yeah, I write. Oh, there's Jose Antoni's Mexican. Do you want to get Mexican?
Do you want to buy food? We should just go grocery shop. Food's expensive.
There's so many.
I haven't been to any restaurants around here though.
Yeah, I know.
We're in a new place.
Can we incorporate some of the leftovers into the pizza?
Sure.
Something high in protein? Anyway. Yeah, so I wrote
Well,
for
what?
Rust Belt Almanac a lot of great long-form stuff. They realized that they really liked my writing. I realized that I really enjoyed writing for them, even though I was still having trouble with the pre-selected articles. You know, even though, to be honest, like, the magazines that I've written for, I would never write about. The assignments they give me, I would never write about in the first place because I'm so completely uninterested. Not that the stuff that they want to write about is uninteresting, just that I'm not interested in it. I don't really like to. I don't care about other people, so I don't.
What were what were the topics that they would
well,
focus on?
the other thing is about Rust Belt Almanac is that, I mean, gentrification was certainly an issue with that magazine. I think they struggled a lot with gentrification, the pros and cons of it, and their opinions of it.
What do you think about gentrification?
I don't know. I think gentrification is a very slippery thing. I don't necessarily...
Do you think you understand it more after living in the city this year? In Bloomfield in particular?
I mean, fuck yeah. I understand it way more. I mean, gentrification is a clearly defined thing. I think you go on dictionary.com and you can know what gentrification is. I guess understanding it is a little bit different because you feel it. You know, you experience it. So, in that way, it's interesting. Unfortunately, it's kind of an inevitable process. Let's just go this way. This inevitable process. In a lot of cases, because as artists, we're one of the early steps in the process of gentrification.
What are your thoughts towards like Pittsburgh and living in the city and you know?
I moved to the city because I wanted to, for kind of the same reasons that your mom likes to live in the city. You know, because I could walk everywhere and I didn't want to fucking drive a car, which is an illusion in Pittsburgh. You need a car. You can't get anywhere in Pittsburgh without a car. The T sucks. The bus sucks. Walking sucks because everything's hills. You know, I mean, it doesn't suck necessarily. I love to walk, you know. In fact, I ran a lot of the hills. I would just, you know, you do that. But as far as like, you know, ease of communication, of green transportation, of green transportation, like it's not that easy. It's not that simple, you know. I think there's the couple in the car next to us is trying to listen to our interview, but like they can't because their windows are up.
They're just staring at me.
It's just a strange choice. They're just leaned forward with their ears this way. So that's why I did.
Are you worried about our neighbors in Bloomfield or no? Like, what are your thoughts?
I'm not really worried about them. I wouldn't say that I'm worried. I don't worry about a lot of many things.
Yeah, well,
you know,
what are your concerns about Bloomfield and large?
It's gonna suck to see. I think it's beautiful. I think it's much more relaxing. I think it smells better. you know, it's easier to be in the way it is. There's a lot of pressure. Gentrification brings a lot of pressure. A lot of people talking about a lot of nonsense that doesn't matter. And when you're in Bloomfield, which to be honest, you know, is, let's call it less economically developed, poorer, to be brutally honest, it's poorer. I like that because there's less pressure there. You don't have to feel like you're performing.
When you walk into condos such as the Cork Factory, how do you feel compared to walking on our street? I mean, you're greeted by a guard.
You're greeted by a guard, which sucks, because, you know, every time I walk in there, I'm like, you know, Amber and Jay, going up to see them, like, you know, I feel like I have to explain myself. I love the free coffee, that's great, you know. There are benefits to both places. When you're in Bloomfield, I feel like I can relax because I don't have to perform. I don't have to put on airs. When I'm in, you know, the Cork Factory, I feel like I can relax because, you know, I don't care about all the bullshit that you have to care about in order to be a part of that place. And so I can just drink the free coffee and, you know, enjoy the company of,
I guess I just want to, I mean, I wanted to ask you those things, but I want to know more about your writing, too. Like, what difficulties have you faced with writing for local publications that aren't as open, like the Rust Belt Almanac? Well, the Rust Belt Almanac, it's run by younger people, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Rust Belt Almanac was, had goals in mind that weren't based on, I mean, they had branding in mind, you know, but their branding was more honest, and it was maybe honesty isn't the word. I guess I don't think you can really talk about it from honesty perspectives, but like their branding was more to my liking because they were interested in the people, and they were interested in the backgrounds of where the people who are shaping our city, where they're coming from, not just like what they're doing to please their customers or like, I don't know, it's exhausting.
Are you going to continue writing for local publications?
No, because I'm leaving, so I can't write about the stuff that local publications want me to write about.
What are like some upcoming things that you're looking forward to working on?
I'm looking forward to...
What, was that a bad question?
No, I'm just lightheaded right now.
I know, I'm hungry too.
I'm like feeling weak. Heat's on.
Oh, shit.
No, okay, so I wrote for Rust Belt Almanac. It was great because I could write in long form and write like creatively and speak and have a voice. Whereas writing in short form journalism, you have to write to idiots. You have to write stupidly.
Who are they targeting?
People who don't read.
Okay.
So like you're writing for people who don't give a fuck about reading. So, good idea. Let's develop a publication for people who don't give a fuck about publications. You know, like, it's ridiculous. It's asinine, you know. So you're setting yourself up for failure. And so then, because you have to write for people who suck at reading, essentially, who can't read, 6th graders, that's when you go to college for journalism, they teach you all journalists have to write at a 6th grade level.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean that's to quote my journalism professors.
I love you.
Journalism is writing at a 6th grade level. So, you know, you're writing to babies. And so that's not fun for me.
Let's go.
I don't care about writing to babies. I want to write for people who are actually interested in reading something.
Let's talk about movies.
Let's talk about movies.
Let's go to sleep. I wake up in the morning.
I wake up in the morning.
Put on my yellow shirt.
Put on my yellow shirt.
I get a bite to eat.
I get a bite to eat.
I go to work. I'm the AV guy.
I'm the AV guy.
I'm the AFNY guy.
I'm the